Can you confirm me what we covered in our previous session? Can you even confirm me what covered in our previous session? Guys, who am I speaking with you, right? Just confirm me what we covered in the previous session. Now is it clear, Malish? Give me a couple of seconds. If it's not, let me know.
Good evening, sir. Yesterday
Uh,
class has
yes.
told about how to develop a basic file organizer based upon on project.
All right. Thank you, Bisha. Thank you so
Welcome.
much. All right. So once again, hello everyone. So today we'll tackling to absolute essential skill for any program. That is called texting, like testing and debugging. Errors or bugs are natural part of the development process. So no matter how carefully we write, we get errors. So what's the difference between debugging and testing? So debugging is a process of finding and fixing errors or bugs in the code after cracked or gave an incorrect result. Whereas testing is the process of actively trying to find errors and verify that your code works as expected before it causes major problems. So, like it involves running your code with specific inputs and checking if the outputs are correct. So, once again, debugging is just finding and fixing errors, while testing is actively trying to find errors while our code runs. If it causes some major problems, we test it, check if it's causing an error, and we try to fix it. So there's two things, debugging and testing. So why are these skills so crucial? Because it ensures program work correctly and consistently. It also maintain well-tested code. So like it is easier to change, update, with breaking existing functionality. Plus, it gives you confidence that your code does what it's supposed to do. Also, it helps finding and fixing bugs early as much as possible, also cheaper way than fixing them later in the development phase or after release, because it will cause a lot of losses and bad image of a program. So today we look at common types of errors, and basic debugging techniques, and introduction to writing simple tests for your Python script. Right. So let us understand the types of errors we might encounter so that it can help you diagnose them faster. Only when you know what type of error is, then only you will know how to fix it. The first we have syntax error. So these errors are in the grammar of your Python code. So the Python interpreter catches this before your program even start. Like your program won't even start when syntax error happens. Example, uh, misspelled keywords like instead of importing what to say OS, or mistakenly you have written something like OP, OL, or PS, something like that. Then missing colons, the most favorite part of everyone, incorrect intention, mismatch parentheses. So these are very annoying. At the same time, it will cause a lot of hectic. Like you won't even be able to know what intention happened in which line. But now we have that thing, so it tells you in what line this error happened. So Python will usually point to the line where the error is detected. Like for example, we have print hello world, and I'm not using the close parentheses. So this will cause syntax error. Let me show you. So as you can see, it caused syntax error because I forgot to close parentheses. Also, let's try we got intention error. Forgot to put intent here. So syntax error are caught by the Python before execution. So if you see syntax error or indentation error, carefully check the line that Python indicates, and often the lines immediately before, like for the typos or structural mistakes. And the next, what we have is runtime error. So these errors occur while the program is running. So if it encounters any operation, any of the line, it cannot perform. So when a runtime error occurs happen, Python raises an exception if not handled properly. The program will crash or prints it straight back. So we learned about handling these with try next block, right? So what are the common types of runtime we have? The first one is name error. So using a variable or function name that hasn't been defined. For example, print XYZ. Name error. XYZ is not defined here. No, it has been defined. And we have type error, like performing an operation. Okay. Can anyone tell me what is type error? I guess I've covered this in our previous session, I guess. Can you tell me what is type error? Guys, come on, can any one of you guys tell me what is type error?
So type error means if we want to add something string or an integer, so we use it, sir, to perform an operation.
Perfect picture. Thank you. Okay. Like she said, yes, Abhinav, registry. Yes. So type error happens when you're performing an operation with an inappropriate data type. For example, adding a string to integer or vice versa. Like let's say 1 plus 1 type error. Then we have value error. The data type is incorrect, but the the data type is correct, but the value is inappropriate. For example, same thing. Let's just say I'm converting a string to here, cause value. Because the number here integer with a string as one is not yes number, right? It's a value. And then we have index error. Like that when we are trying to access a list of a sequence of item with index that is appropriate. For example, okay, this, and I want to print index this out of range because we only have 0 to 2. And we have key error trying to access a dictionary key that doesn't exist. Zero division error when we try to divide a number by zero. File not found error, which we covered in our previous basic file organization. That when trying to open a file that doesn't exist in read mode or doesn't exist in write mode, something like that. So have a look at ones, name error, type error, value, index, key, using fail not attribute found, attribute error, trying to access an attribute that is an exact same thing, import error when we haven't installed that module but we are trying to import it. And then we have like logic errors, also called as semantic errors. So these are often trickiest to find, very trickiest to find. The program will run without crash, but it will produce incorrect results or behave in inintended way or behave in a way that you like will happen. The code will run if you're trying to add a plus b, but it's not giving the output appropriate output. The syntax is correct, and then runtime exception, indentation right, colons are there, everything there. But the underlying logic of code is has a flaw. Example, instead of using lesser than for comparison for greater than or incorrect formula, something like that. Like for an average number, like for example, it should be sum of the numbers divided by the length of the numbers, right? So if we just give the sum of the numbers divide by something like some other number, so it's just a, it's not a logic there. The code will run, they won't show any error, but the output will be something like, for example, let me show you for better understanding. Some basic example. I have a number. Okay. Hmm. Let's try it. So what happened here? Can anyone tell me? Why type error? Because we are trying to divide integer with a list. Now tell me why I'm on a more type error. How to fix this code? Come on, guys, let me pretend I don't know anything. I want you guys to fix this. Very simple. How will you do that? So I'll give you a minute. I want to guys to be interactive, but I don't know why no one does it.
Sir, actually, number equal to 10, comma 20, comma 30 you have written, no, sir? Down
Yes,
average.
Akshay.
The issue was in the line average equal to 1 equal to some num 1 by some 1. You have written, no, sir? That num 1 should not be written, sir. Instead of that, if we write length of num 1, so it will be correct, sir. Then the number of element will be in the list, sir.
Can you give me the correct code?
Sir, num1 equal to 10 comma 20 comma 30.
No, no, type it out for. Yeah, everyone should feel that right.
What, sir?
Type it out in the text if you don't mind.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, Rajesh. Because I was trying to access a list using a parenthesis. It gave me average, but it's not a correct average. Like the code ran.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I have sent in code message.
Yeah,
Sir.
yes. Yes, Bisha, thank you. But what I'm trying to make you understand, this code ran, but the output we expected is incorrect. I hope I hope you guys are clear with the concept. So logic errors, like it said, is hard to find because the program ran with crashing. But based on the output, we get to know it shouldn't be like that. Okay. Moving to debugging techniques. When your code isn't working as expected, we need to debug it. So first method we use is print statements. It also called as print-driven debugging or caveman debugging. Oh, this is the simplest and often surprising effective technique. So we insert print statement at various points in our code to display the values of variables. Also check the flow of execution to see certain blocks of the codes are being reached. For example, let me show you. Let's just say trying to create a workbook. So let's assume they expect numbers and we want to double them. Now bug. If item is a string that can, like if the item is a string, then it cannot be an integer, right? It will fail. Bug two. If item is already a number, like converting that into one of the, again to integer, but it's okay. It's one of the bug. So let's introduce a bug demonstration. For example, try if I. What will happen now? Now we are intentionally causing a type error. Let me think. But wait. So let's give one data, for example, data this one. Okay. So this is half code. Now tell me what happened here. What did I miss? Anyone? Come on, guys. Like it says, error happened. Name I is not different. Gave the for loop statement here, right? Where is the for loop? For I item, sort of injection error will happen. One thing we missed, all the thing will get missed. There's one shortcut also. I want you guys to figure that out. Oh, we got one process value. Unexpected error happened because we are causing one bug intentionally here. Let me try to add one value error. Integer with a string with integer won't align. So we are adding print statement to see the state of the variables before and during and after the operation. So print methods confirm the certain conditions are met. Loops are end counter. Any doubt people here? Statement. The other one is understanding your tracebacks. So when a runtime error happens, an exception occurs and it's not handled, Python prints a traceback. So this is your primary clue. You guys would have read a traceback in many other times, right? So the well traceback with type of exception and error messages. The lines above shows a sequence of the code that led to the error, like with the file's name, line numbers, the code of the line. So we'll try to cause a potential zero error. Okay, one more. Okay. An example, zero division order. From last bottom to up, like it said, the last line tells you the type of error and the error message. The line above shows the sequence of calls that led to this error. First, 100 divided by value, then the result with the line name and the code on that line. Let me do one more thing. What happened? Can anyone tell me what happened here? What trace that? Recursion error happened. What is recursion error is? Can anyone tell me what is recursion error? When a function that we called a function program ran out of memory or maximum depth, there is something called recursion there. So like the function calls itself without any stopping condition. Yes, exactly, Radhasan. There's a picture. Perfect. All right. And now we have something called Python's PDP, Python's own debugger tool that allows you to step through your code line by line, inspect the values of variable each step, and set breakpoints to pause the execution in the specific points. The Python inbuilt tool debugger called PDP set trace back into code wherever we want to start debug. For example, importing PDP. Okay, so let me just start it. ACS. Right. I have one intermediate one. Okay. Nothing but A multiplied by B. So let's say we suspect an issue around here, or we want to expect values. We start PDP dot retrospect. We start at a breaking point here. Then intermediate 2. Like let's just say intermediate. 2 is nothing but intermediate 1 plus C. If intermediate now it potentially cause a problem if we divide the intermediate 2 later. What happens if it will cause intermediate to 0, forcing it to be non-zero for the example to avoid actual decision by 0. So in real scenario, you will handle this logic error by just say intermediate 2 is equal to 1. But here we just say intermediate is 0. I'll show you. Now we are forcing it to be non-zero. Right? All right. I have one value 10. One Can anyone tell me what happened here? So when PDB set trace is hit, our program got passed. Okay. I'll try reading the program. Let me rerun it. Program got passed. You'll see PDP here in the terminal. So common PDP commands now is we have N. Execute a current line echo net. We have S. Step P to the function call if the current line calls a function. You see the difference? The current line calls what? This function. And we have something called P. P is nothing but print the value of a variable. Example P intermediate 1 200. A multiplier will be 200. So we have L list. It lists the source code around the current line. This is our current line. As you can see the pointer. And we have Q to quit, S to help. All these are the commands for the PDB. So debuggers are incredibly powerful for understanding complex code flow and variable states. Many IDE like VS Code have built-in graphical debuggers that are even easier to use than PDB directly. So any doubt in PDB? So we also have unit test. Unit test is nothing but to focus on testing individual code or small piece of code like a units in a single function or method of class. So Pythons have inbuilt unit test module that provides a framework for creating unit tests. Like in unit test, we have a test case like created class that inherits the test. Just like testing a small block of code. Go like have a look on unit test if you want. So a few tips to make testing debugging more effective. Like for debugging, try to reproduce the bug. Try to reliably reproduce the error. If you can't reproduce it, it's hard to fix. Only the errors which got reproduced, it will get fixed. And isolate the problem. Try to narrow down where the error is occurring. Comment down sections of the code. Test parts in isolation. Understand the error message and state that. Don't just guess. Understand what type of error, what happened. Read what Python is trying to tell you. Check your assumption. If as expected as they are. Sometimes try to like if you're trying to create a function, try to do it block by block. Explain the problem like to someone else, maybe they might know. So for testing, test early as possible, integrate testing into a development process from the beginning. Write testable code, small, well-defined features or easier. Test edge classes invalid. For example, do just test the expected. Like it just ran the code. It just ran and you're not trying to figure it out whether the output is as expected of your code. If test independent, each test should be able to run on its own without affecting or depending on other tests. So automated tests, like you can run them easily. For example, if you are using Git, trying to commit it before trying to have a version control, like incredibly helpful. If it is about it, and you can revert to your previous version. Today we have covered the critical skills of debugging testing, identify different types of errors using print statement traceback type of work. So effective debugging and through testing or what separates a professional coder to an unprofessional software developer. So they lead a more robust, reliable, maintainable code. So any question about debugging techniques or writing tests, anyone? Yes, Rajastri, but not all the time. you use BTP only in test debugging phase. Like if the development of the code is with the new so meanwhile, can anyone fix the code which I have been displaying? Come on, guys. Anyone tell me how to fix that code? Right. I feel you guys are exhausted. All right. So if you guys don't have any doubt, we'll start. Sure. Sure, you have been so good here. Hope you guys have understood. So thank you guys. Practice these skills regularly. The more you do, the more you debug and test, the better and the faster you will become at producing a high quality code in a much faster way. Thank you guys for attending. If you guys have any doubt, you can and have the great rest of the night. Thank you, people.